You think animal armor is just for defense? Think again. The first animal armor on Earth didn't evolve to protect creatures. It evolved to crush prey skulls easier. And if you believe armor makes animals safer, that's wrong too. 99% of all armored species that ever existed are completely extinct. So was armor a failed evolutionary path? If it blocks deadly attacks, why does evolution keep creating it, then dumping it over and over? For hundreds of millions of years, this survival strategy has come and gone, like nature's most persistent trend. Back in ancient times, every ocean fish wore thick bony armor. No shell, no survival. Even dinosaurs had spiked tails and shield-like backplates. Our mammalian ancestors also once had armor, but only a tiny few armored species are left. Time has proven it. Armor almost always leads to extinction. Let's rewind 400 million years to the Devonian period, when oceans were full of armored life. Some fish looked like moving flat shields. Others, like placoderms, had heavy bony head helmets and stubby tails, slow, clumsy, tank-like creatures crawling on the seafloor. These placoderms were Earth's first dominant vertebrate predators. Their armor wasn't just protection, it was a superpower. Thick bone plates acted as sturdy muscle anchors, letting their jaw muscles generate the first truly powerful bite in vertebrate history. The top predator of that era, the Dunkleistus, had fully armored jaws with a 5-ton bite force. To put that in perspective, today's strongest saltwater crocodile only hits 1.5 tons. The Dunkleistus bit 3 times harder. Back then, there was no speed race in the oceans. No fast hunters, no quick darting fish. All sea creatures moved slowly in oxygen-rich water. This created one brutal rule. Thicker armor and bigger size meant total dominance. No one could outrun each other. It was a simple fight. Bigger bite, tougher shell, wins the life or death battle. Placoderms ruled the oceans for 50 million years, all thanks to their armor. Then everything changed. In the late Devonian, the planet shifted. Ocean temperatures dropped, currents changed, and oxygen levels spiked and crashed unpredictably. New, smarter predators evolved. These early bony fish had sleek, torpedo-shaped, lightweight bodies, built purely for speed. They accelerated fast, slipped through gaps in placoderm armor, and attacked their soft, vulnerable bellies. The heavy armor that once saved placoderms became a fatal burden. They grew too slow to defend themselves, but predators weren't their end. Earth itself was. The late Devonian extinction triggered total ecological collapse. Reefs died, coastal life vanished, and ocean oxygen plummeted. Over half of all marine species died out, and placoderms were hit the hardest. They went completely extinct. The first age of armor was over. But evolution never abandons a working strategy for good. Once ecosystems stabilized, armor made a huge comeback. After the Devonian, reptiles took over land, forests spread worldwide, and the first dinosaurs appeared. By the Jurassic, giant forests covered every continent. Herbivores grew massive, too big to hide, too slow to run. So evolution built the Stegosaurus, nature's new land tank. Stegosaurus had giant fan-shaped backplates for defense, display, and temperature control, plus sharp bony tail spikes strong enough to pierce flesh and crack bone. Fossils proved this deadly power. Researchers found a pterosaur vertebra with a wound that perfectly matches a Stegosaurus spike. This confirms it. Armor evolution has always been attack and defense evolving side by side. Stegosaurus wasn't fast or agile, but in dense forests with sudden close-range threats, its armor let it stand and fight against top predators. Then the Cretaceous period pushed armor to its absolute peak. Ankylosaurus perfected armored survival. Its entire body was covered in interlocking bony plates, its skull formed a solid helmet, and its tail turned into a massive bone club. The Cretaceous's warm climate, thick vegetation, and giant wildlife let armored beasts thrive. They grew tough enough to stand face-to-face with T-Rex, Earth's most powerful land predator. A full-grown Ankylosaurus could hold its ground so well, even T-Rex couldn't get close. But evolution has no permanent winners. The Cretaceous asteroid strike caused global climate chaos. All large, slow-moving armor giants were wiped out. The second golden age of armor ended. Still, armor never fully disappeared. It only retreated to small corners of the globe where it still worked. After the dinosaur extinction, small, fast, warm-blooded mammals took over. Light, furry, and burrowing, they survived on speed and stealth, and that was enough for millions of years. But history repeated itself. Once food was abundant and ecosystems stable, small mammals grew bigger. They entered a deadly danger zone, too large to hide, too small to fight off big predators, and too slow to escape. Biologists call this size range the danger zone. easy to spot, unable to win fights, unable to run away. Naturally, evolution reached for its old trick, armor. Small grazing mammals grew bony skin plates. These burrowing, flexible creatures were the earliest ancestors of modern armadillos. Living in open, predator-heavy grasslands with endless food, they traded speed for protective armor. By the Pliocene epoch, they evolved into glyptodons, half-ton giants that looked like walking boulders, with solid bone domes on their backs and armored tails. They lived alongside deadly predators like saber-toothed cats, giant bears, and massive prehistoric wolves. Yet they thrived perfectly, turning their slow, armored lifestyle into a winning survival tactic, just like Ankylosaurus. Glyptodons didn't fail because armor didn't work. They died because their world changed. Ice ages and climate shifts destroyed their habitats. But the evolutionary rules behind armor still exist, and we see them in their modern descendants today. So what's the big lesson here? Across all eras, armor only evolves under 3 specific rules. First, unlimited energy. Growing armor costs massive resources, minerals, energy, and extra body weight. It only evolves when food is everywhere, so animals don't need to travel far and can carry the extra bulk. That's why cold, harsh climates favor fur over bone armor. Animals can't afford both. Second, the size danger zone. Armor never shows up on tiny creatures or giant dominant ones. It only evolves in middle-sized animals, big enough to be targeted by predators, small enough to be vulnerable. Every modern armored animal fits this exact bracket. Third, short, sudden fights. Armor works best against ambushes and single quick strikes. If a creature can hunker down to make the first attack painful, most predators will give up. But against persistent endurance hunters or group predators, armor is useless. In those cases, speed always wins. Evolution keeps reinventing armor. So will we ever see a new era of giant armored beasts? Could stranger, stronger armored creatures evolve again? Maybe, but almost certainly not while humans are on this planet.